Okay, we started yesterday the first part about the description in the Tanakh by the Nevi'im about Milchamet Gog Magog, the war of Gog Magog. I just want to remind you the questions that we put in the beginning of the shiur yesterday and how actually we answered them. So the first question was, what is Gog Magog? So we learned that Gog is the name of a person, Magog is the name of a nation. And Gog is the leader of Magog. The second question was about where we in the picture, the Jewish people. So after we learn Perek Lamed Chet in Yechezkel, we know that we are in the picture. We are actually the target of this war. When Gog going to gather together all the nations of the world, and we'll learn more about this today in different places in the Tanakh, and go for a war in Eretz Israel. The location also, we asked where will be the location, so the location says clearly over there that it will be on the mountains of Israel. What about the timing? So yeah, the timing is after, first of all, Ba'achris Hayomim, but more specific, we learned that it will be after Eretz Yisrael will be deserted for many, many, many years, and then the cities in Eretz Yisrael will be rebuilt, Choravot Noshavot, the ruined cities that will be rebuilt after many years that they were deserted. Then will be the time. Then will be the time of the war. Question number 5 was, what's the reason for the war? Again, I'm just summarizing for what we learned yesterday. So 2 reasons. The reason that Gog think why, and he wants lishlol shalal ve'lavoz baz, for coming to take the financial or economy power that those people that came, this nation that came from all over the world, they build a center, financial center of the world in Eretz Israel. That will be the target of the attackers in the leadership of Gog. But the real reason why Hashem said to Yechezkel HaNavi, tell him, I'm going to put this idea in your head, and I have a completely different reason. And the reason is to do through you Kiddush Hashem. So I will add now one question. Why through him? Why through Gog? It could be anyone. So why, we didn't relate to this question yesterday, we'll relate to it today, B'ezrat Hashem. The last question was, what will be the result? Is that the end of the world? The answer is no. And even if you heard that, you have to know that the source of the end of the world is actually not Jewish, it's Christian. If you heard or know, ever heard about the apocalypse, that's a Christian idea, not Jewish idea. The bottom line is war, it seems always not good. Not in this case. In this case, for sure it's not good for the Goyim. For sure it's very good for the Jews. The question that we left open was, okay, we learn more. We learned that they will come and conquer the place, Eretz Yisrael, then they will be defeated. How? Not by army that's going to fight them, but by Hashem. In 3 parts. Part number 1 will be a huge earthquake. Part number 2, war that will be between those nations that come to attack. And those who will be surviving from those 2, the earthquake and the friendly fire, will be destroyed by a plague and a rain of stones that Hashem and fire that Hashem will put on them. So that will be the finish of them, and that will be the end of the war. And the last pasuk that we learned yesterday was that will be a big Kiddush Hashem. V'yitgadilti v'yitkadishti v'nodati le'enei goyim rabim. And I mentioned that the word of the Kaddish, Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shmei Rabbah, taking from this perek, from the end of the description of Milchemet Gog Magog by Yechezkel in Perek Lamed Chet. Okay, so that's the summary of yesterday. Let's continue now. So I want to continue now, just in brief, not with the other psukim, the other verses in the Nevi'im. We're going to speak a lot about Sefer Zechariah, not just, but Sefer Zechariah, there is another description. If you remember yesterday, I told you that the Nevuah of Yechezkel in Perek Lamed Chet addressed Gog, not us. Zechariah asked by Hashem to address us. So that will be the description of the war from our point of view. But before that, I want to answer the question of the Kiddush Hashem on the head of Gog. Why Gog? Okay? For this, we will learn a medrash. This is the medrash. It's mentioned in a few places. It's in Vayikra Parashat Emor, Midrash Rabbah. אמר רבי לוי, אוי להם לרשעים שהם מתעסקים בעצות על ישראל. וכל אחד ואחד אומר, עצתי יפה מעצתך. Woe for the wicked one. Because all of them has one goal, to destroy the Jews. Anti-Semitism, in our words. And it's very interesting what this medrash says. You bring a list of 4 anti-Semites during the history. And he will show how they want to destroy the Jews. They could not do it. שבכל דור ודור עומדים עלינו לכלותנו והקדוש ברוך הוא מצילנו מידם. But they are not aware of this. They tried, they failed, but the next anti-Semite later on try to learn the lesson and analyze why the former one failed. Okay? Let's see what the Medrash says. The first anti-Semites ever is Esau. Esau decided to kill Yaakov when Yaakov was the entire Jewish nation at the time. And Esau says, after the Brachos story, right, in Parashat Toldot, he said, יקרבו ימי אבל אבי והרגה את יעקב אחי. He decided to kill Yaakov. So here's the first one. So Esau, when he made the decision, Vayomer Esav belibo, it was a strategic decision in his heart. It was after a lot of thoughts. And here's the thoughts that he had. Esav אמר, שוטה היה קין שהרג את אחיו בחיי אביו, ולא היה יודע שאביו פרה ורבה, אני איני עושה כן, אלא יקרבו ימי אבל אבי. What actually he said, I will wait until my father will die, meaning Yitzchak, and then I'll kill Yaakov. Why? Because he learned from the history. Was also a jealousy between 2 brothers in the beginning of the history. Love Cain and Hevel, right? And Cain killed Hevel because he wants the entire world to be his. He killed Hevel. So Esau thinks, oh, I'm going to kill my brother. Let's learn from the history. He was not smart, Cain, because he killed Hevel too early. Because after he killed Hevel, Adam and Chava has another son, Shet. So I didn't win because I have also another partner. I have another brother. So said Esau, I will wait until my father die, and then I'll kill Yaakov. יקרבו ימי אבל אבי והרגה את יעקב אחי. He failed, and the next anti-Semites, years after is Paro. Paro learned from Esau, he tried to learn what went wrong by Esau to try to be more sophisticated. פרעה אמר, שוטה היה עשיו. Esau was not that smart because he didn't take this in account. שנאמר, יקרבו ימי אבל אבי, ולא היה יודע שאחי פרה ורבה בחיי אביו. So what was the miscalculation of Esau? That you will wait until your father die, but meanwhile, Yaakov will have children, and he has the Shvatim. So as Paro said, I will not do that. Ani eini oseken. I will not do this. I will not make the same mistake. Ela, ad deinun dekikin techot kursei imo. It's our make. Until they're, as long as the babies are very, very little, they just was delivered, just was born, Ana mechanek yaton. I will kill them, the babies. And that's why he give an order to the miyaldos, uritem al האובניים כל הבן הילוד היורה תשליכו, meaning I will not let them to grow, because after they grow, you cannot control them. So let's kill them the minute they come to the world. And that was the gezer of Paro, to kill the babies, right? And he failed. And then, hundreds of years later, the next anti-Semite that the Medrash bring, were many anti-Semites, but the Medrash bring only those for a reason. We'll not go to it now. Okay, the next one will be who? Haman, right. Haman אמר, שוטה היה פרעה שאמר כל הבן הילוד היאורה תשליכו, ולא היה יודע שהבנות נישאות לאנשים ופרות ורבות מהן. The gezer of Paro was on the males, the baby boys, right? What about the girls? So he left them alive. Even one Egyptian will marry a Jewish lady, the children will be Jewish, right? So Haman says, no, I have no sentiments. I will kill them all. Girls, lady, boy, girls, everything. אלא אני עושה כן אלא להשמיד, להרוג ולאבד את כל היהודים, מנער ועד זקן, טף ונשים, everyone. And he failed. The next in the list, the Medrash says, will be Gog. So according to this Medrash, Gog also is anti-Semite. Now, he tried to, he will live at the end of the history. After many attempts, those are the major ones, but many attempts to kill the Jews. But you know the famous 3 words, Am Yisrael Chai. Even though they're trying and trying and trying, and they have the power, but Am Yisrael Chai. So Gog said, you know why no one could actually kill the Jews, eliminate them? Listen to this, very important. Gog tried to again learn the lesson from the mistakes that the former anti-Semites did, and that's why they fell. He said, you know what, we're trying this and this and this, and nothing worked. You know why? Because the Jews has a protector. They have a guard who guarding them, which is Hashem. So therefore, it doesn't matter what we will try to do, we could not do it because there is a guard. So according to this, Gog should understand this and become Bal Tshuva and say, okay, forget about it. It doesn't work. It will never work. We tried. He lives at the end of the history after many attempts. No, said Gog. I analyzed the problem. But don't worry, I'm not getting back. I'm not going back from the mission. I will kill them. But now I know what's the obstacle. What's the obstacle? Hashem that protect them. Says Gog, in order to kill them, I have first to eliminate him. And he was right. He was right in the analysis. Why they could not kill us? Because of Hashem. But see what he said? I will do it anyways. I know what's the problem. Before I kill them, I will kill him. Look at this in the words of the Midrash. ואף גוג ומגוג לעתיד לבוא עתיד לומר כן. You're also in the future gonna say the same. שוטים היו הראשונים שהיו מתעסקים בעצות על ישראל, ולא היו יודעים שיש להם פטרון בשמיים, פטרון meaning a guarder. They have Hashem that protect them. אני איני עושה כן. I will not start from trying to kill them. I have to get rid of the obstacle. אלא, בתחילה אני מזדווג לפטרון שלהם, ואחר כך להם, first I have to deal with him. So I will deal with them, I will eliminate them, and then I could kill them. הדאו דכתיב, this is the pasuk in Tehillim, the beginning of Tehillim, יתייצבו מלכי ארץ ורוזנים נוסדו יחד על השם ועל משיחו. So it speaks about the nation that come with Gog Magog, that they come on Hashem. Okay? אמר לו הקדוש ברוך הוא, רשע, לי אתה בא להזדווג? You want to deal with me, right? חייך שאני עושה עמך מלחמה. If you starting up with me, fine, so I will fight you. And that's why Hashem going to bring him with all his soldiers and all the nations in order to do Kiddush Hashem. So that's the reason of why him. Why him? Because he's the only one who realized that as long as Hashem, if Hashem is in the picture, it will not work. So he declared a war on Hashem. הדאו דכתיב, this is what's written in ישעיהו, השם כגיבור יצא כאיש מלחמות יאיר קינה. וכתיב in זכריה, we're going to get to this זכריה י"ד, ויצא השם ונלחם בגויים מהם. מה כתיב תמן? והיה השם למלך על כל הארץ, at the end of זכריה, there's the famous pasuk, והיה השם למלך על כל הארץ, ביום הוא יהיה השם אחד ושמו אחד. Okay, this is the Medrash. Now let's analyze the Medrash just for a second. Let's analyze the Medrash and try to verify what's going on. If Gog is so smart that he knows that there is a Hashem, how could he be so stupid to start up with Hashem? Unless he doesn't understand what Hashem is. But he does. Because he said, there is a strong power that protects the Jews from all the attempts. So he knows that Hashem is powerful. So is he fool? What do you mean I will kill him first?
Maybe he doesn't mean it literally. Maybe he means...
Oh, wait, okay. I will say what I have to say. If you have to add to this, you could. The thing is like this. Remember yesterday when we tried to verify who is Gog, who is Magog? So we said it seems, according to the geography, that north to Israel, to the land of Israel, is Russia. Now, I don't have to tell many of you about what Russia is. You could tell me even, right? But very interesting about Russia. Russia has a philosophy. And the philosophy in Russia is that there is no God. No God whatsoever. That's the communism, right? No God. There is a famous joke that says about a teacher, first grade teacher in Russia, that come to teach the first day of the school. And she stands in front of the school and said, we're going to learn together, me and you kids, in the next year, right? So in order for us to communicate right, let's make few things clear. And the thing are the following. What you do not see, not exist. You see the wall? There is a wall. You see the ceiling? There is a ceiling. You see the table? There is a table. You see the desk? There is a desk. You see the chair? There is a chair. Anyone see God? The answer, no. There is no God. So the jokes goes like in, I don't know how many children, you tell me, how many kids are in the classroom, regular classroom in Russia?
30.
How many?
30.
30. Out of 30 Russians, there is one smart little Jew, kid. So this kid learned at home, secretly, I don't know at the time, that there is God. So he stand up and he said, can I say something? The Mora was very happy that one of those dummies understood and wanted to relate to what she said. So he stand up and he said, I got what the teacher says. What do you not see is not exist, right? So you see the teacher is here, exist. You see the hand of the teacher? Yeah, the teacher has a hand, the teacher has a leg. Anyone see the brain of the teacher? The teacher has no sechel, no brain. Okay, so that's the jokes. But the idea is that in the Russia philosophy, if it's Russia, there is no room for God. They eliminate God. They convince everyone they're very materialistic. There are philosophy, what's the idea of life, but anyways, no room for God. And they're not the only atheists. There are more atheist ideas or groups, but in Russia it's very major, atheism. I know that because I'm in Kiruv for so many years, more than 4 decades, believe it or not. And I doing Kiruv for Israelis and for Jews around the world. In Israel, we have a lot of Jews who came from Russia. And when we do seminars, also Russian Jews, Israeli Russian Jews come to this Kiruv programs. When I speak to Israelis, even completely from the kibbutzim, they have some ideas about what Judaism is. They heard from their grandfather. They know something. When you talk to Russians, they blank. They do not know what you're talking about the basic of the basic. So we see the success of eliminating God from the mind of the people. And that could be a very interesting way to try to understand how Gog gonna fight Hashem. He will convince everyone that there is no such a thing. And actually, you know that many people in the world now are atheists. I mean, they live with it very comfortably that there is no God, even though it's how the entire world exists and functioning. Okay, but they ignore this. But anyway, this is an interesting way to fight God, take him out of the picture. And you know what actually he's doing? Just a second. I'm finishing this. So what he said, I will have a better way to eliminate the Jews. I will convince the world, including the Jews, that there is no God. If there is no God, Judaism is going bye-bye, and the Jewish people are not going to exist. Aside from the actual fight on the ground, that will be the ideology. And this is my idea. I just adding it to what we learned before for the theory, who might be Gog? Who might be Magog? Yes?
So first, just to clarify, by recognizing that Hashem fights for us, he's going to convince everyone that there's no Hashem?
Right.
Okay. And also,
even though Hashem will stay there, but if no people in the world who believe in him, he will have no power.
Okay.
That's what his idea.
Okay. And also, just going back to what we said before, is it similar to like other people who like recognize before, like Bilam and like Dora Flaga, who like recognize that Hashem exists and try to like overpower or like think in a different way to like counteract Hashem's power?
Could be, but here we're talking about fighting the nation of Israel, which is the nation of Hashem. Dora Palaga, they didn't deal with Jews to eliminate them. Here, it comes through this idea to eliminate the Jews and analyzing that there is a God. Therefore, I will eliminate the God, and then, okay, fine. Now, let's go to a different place in the Tanakh. The second major place in the Tanakh that deals with the story, with the sugya, the issue of Gog Magog, is in Zechariah. As I told you yesterday about Yechezkel, I say the same about Zechariah. Zechariah was one of the Nevi'im Acharonim. He was even later to Yechezkel. Yechezkel lived right before the Churban Bayis Rishon. Zechariah was one of the last 3 Nevi'im that we ever had. Chagai, Zechariah, Malachi. And Chagai, Zechariah, Malachi was the builders of Bayit Sheni. So they was at the end of the 70 years that was in between the destruction of Bayit Rishon to the beginning of Bayit Sheni. So Zechariah also, in Sefer Zechariah there are only 14 parakim, 14 chapters in the entire Sefer Zechariah. it's divided in a way, again, that the 7 first prokim speaks about things that happened in his days, but from Perek Chet to the end of the Sefer Zechariah, it speaks about Achris Hayomen, things that are going to happen at the end of days. The last 3 prokim, Perek Yud Bet, Yud Gimel, and Yud Dalet, the last 3 prokim in Zechariah, dealing with this thing, this big war. Now, in Sefer Zechariah, the names of Gog Magog are not mentioned because the nevuah is not for Gog, like in Yechezkel, but for us. But if you will see with me now what he described, he described a big war. But if you will go to the description, you will see this is the same event that Yechezkel speaks about. Let's see. So let's go to Sefer Zechariah, Perek Yud Bet, the first 2 psukim. Pasuk Aleph, Masad Dvar Hashem al Yisrael. So in the beginning, he said, this is addressed to Israel, to the nation of Israel. Masad Dvar Hashem al Yisrael, Noteh Shamayim v'Yosed Aretz. It's going back to Hashem. Hashem is the creator of the Shamayim and the Aretz. Noteh Shamayim v'Yosed Aretz v'Yotzer Ruach ha'adam bekirbo. And he gave the neshama to people. Why this is mentioned in the beginning, we have no time now to go to this. Why he mentioned the Yotzer Ruach Adam Bekirbo. Now look at the next pasuk. Hine Anochi, Hashem says, Hine Anochi sam et Yerushalayim saf ra'al lechol ha'amim saviv. I will make Yerushalayim, and he speaks about Achris Hayomim, we'll see that later. Yerushalayim will be a sefel. You know what sefel? How do you say sefel in English? Mag, or when you drink in the morning, a big cup. Sefel, in Hebrew it's called sefel. A mag. So sefel has in it the letter samech and pei. Samech and pei in Lashon HaKodesh, it's not connected to the coffee in the morning. Samech and pei is sof, the end. Al hasaf ve'al shtei hamezuzot, al hamashkof, al hasaf. The mashkof are the 2 poles in the right and the left of the door, and the saf is the end. Okay? Sof. And there are many other words. Sefel, hine anochi sam et Yerushalayim, saf ra'al. Ra'al is poison. So it will be a mag with a poison in it. Who gonna drink from this cup? Kol ha'amim. And he mentioned this notion, lechol ha'amim, 3 times in 2 psukim. Is this the first one? Yerushalayim will be saf ra'al, meaning like they're gonna drink poison. All the nations of the world will be coming to their end in Yerushalayim. Next pasuk. Pasuk Gimel. Ve'aya bayom ha'u, at that time, asim et Yerushalayim even ma'amasa lechol ha'amim. And here you give another analogy. Like someone who take big stone with very sharp edges. So if you carry it on your shoulder, you're going to be cut by the edges of the stone. So he said, Yerushalayim will be a huge stone that all the nations of the world will try to put it on their shoulders, and they will pay the price. Kol omseha sarot yisaretu. Anyone who will carry it will get a scar or a cut. Vene'esfu alea kol goyei haaretz. So see, in 2 psukim, the notion, kol ha'amim, saf ra'a lekol ha'amim, even ma'amasa lekol ha'amim, vene'esfu alea kol goyei haaretz. So he describing a war, that in this war, all the nations of the world will come on Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim is on the mountains of Israel, as you know. So this is I want to show the similarity, because here he's talking to Israel, Masad var Hashem al Israel. He didn't mention Gog or Magog or the nation. He just said in general, all the nations of the world. So it's very scary, this nevuah. Will be a big war in Yerushalayim from all the nations of the world, which clearly never happened yet. Never was such a, the entire world come on Yerushalayim, never happened. Because I'm in Yerushalmi, I was born and raised in Yerushalayim. When I started to work on this and I get to this psukim, I got scared. It's not fun if all the nations of the world will come to a war in Yerushalayim. So I looked for nechama, for something that could calm you down, and I find it in this chapter, in this perek, later on, in Pasuk Chet. Let's jump to it. Bayom hahu, Pasuk Chet. Bayom hahu, yagen Hashem be'ad Yoshev Yerushalayim. So there is a promise that the citizens of Yerushalayim will be protected, even though all the nations of the world will come on Yerushalayim. Hashem will protect them. So, okay, we could calm down. Okay. Now, he continued to describe. He said, Hashem says, that he will bring all the nations of the world on Yerushalayim for the war. For what? So let's continue. In the next few psukim in Pasuk Tet, והיה ביום ההוא אבקש להשמיד את כל הגויים הבאים על ירושלים. That's why I bring them there. Because I want to destroy them, I want to eliminate them. את כל הגויים הבאים על ירושלים, and I want to again emphasize something that I mentioned yesterday. Even in Yechezkel and in Zechariah, when it says that will be many nations, in Yechezkel a few times, and here all the nations of the world, it means soldiers. It's not meaning that the entire nation will come. They will send soldiers. So the one that Hashem wants to destroy are the soldiers that come on Yerushalayim. It's not the destruction of the world. Because as we learned yesterday, the purpose is that the nations of the world will see and will be Kiddush Hashem. If no one will stay alive, no one will learn anything from this, right? So the idea is to destroy the soldiers of this huge army. Never was in the world such an army that all the nations of the world will send their best soldiers to this mission. And they're going to come there to drink their poison cup, to be destroyed. Now, I'll jump to Perek Yud Gimel. So far, we did a few psukim from Perek Yud Bet in Zechariah. There is very fascinating, amazing information in chapter Yud Gimel. But I will go to the last pasuk in chapter Yud Gimel, the last pasuk of Perek Yud Gimel, and this is the pasuk. והבאתי את השלישית באש, וצרפתים כצרוף את הכסף, ובחנתים כבחון את הזהב, הוא יקרא בשמי ואני אענה אותו, אמרתי עמי הוא והוא יאמר השם אלוקיי. Very unclear, but let me try to explain the simple understanding. והבאתי את השלישית באש, Hashem said that 1/3, and it's not clear from what, 1/3 of the population. Question is, 1/3 of the population of the world, or 1/3 of the population of the Jewish people? And this 1/3, after 2/3 will be destroyed, the last 1/3 will go, Hashem said, and I'll put them in a fire. What do you mean in a fire? והבאתי את השלישית באש. I'll bring that 1/3 into a fire and purify it as one purified silver. You know, there is a process. You take the silver or any expensive thing, gold from the ground, it comes with a lot of dirt. So how do you purify it? You put it in oven or some place with the fire in certain temperature, that only the pure gold or the pure silver could pass, and the rest even will be burned or be pushed aside. That's called kur ha'ituch. Kur ha'ituch meaning to purify the expensive gold or silver. And that's what he said. והבאתי את השלישית באש, the 1/3 I would put it into fire, and purified it as purifying silver, purifying gold. הוא יקרא בשמי. Now, of course, it's a parable. Let me tell you what he means. Will be a big, big nisyonos, a big, big challenges, tests that will be to those people who will left. Like, they are good, they are silver, they are gold, but within them, there is a lot of dirt, and this dirt should be burned or separated. So that's the idea. Will be a lot of nisyonos at this time for this 1/3 until it will be purified. Meaning will be a lot of problems, a lot of not good things that they're going to go through. And the question is, who through all this tsuris, these problems, will be faithful to Hashem, and who will say, you know what, I don't want anything, and they will just go away. That will be the nisyonos. That's the 1/3. So again, והבאתי את השלישית באש וצרפתים כצרוף את הכסף ובחנתים כבחון את הזהב, הוא יקרא בשמי ואני אענה אותו. Because it will be so not simple to live in those nisyonot, in those challenges. People who will cry to Hashem and say, please Hashem, save us. We know that you're there. You know that you could do everything. Those, Hashem will say, okay, you calling me, I will answer you. So this pasuk is just in the middle between the description in Perek Yud Bet about the big war to what's described in Perek Yud Dalet. Now, let's go to Perek Yud Dalet after this to see. We know or we learn in Perek Yud Bet that the purpose of bringing all the nations of the world in Yerushalayim in order to destroy them. Now, how it will be? Here's the description, Perek Yud Dalet. Perek Yud Dalet, the last chapter of Zechariah. הנה יום בא להשם וחולק שללך בקרבך. He talked to Yerushalayim. So the address is Yerushalayim. And Hashem says, will be one day that here in Yerushalayim will be dividing of booties, of spoils. We know that from Yechezkel, right? Who wants to come to Eretz Israel to lishlol shalal velavos baz? Gog. So what he says actually here, that they will come, they will conquer Yerushalayim, and they will fulfill what they wanted, right? To do the lishlot shalal. חולק שללך בקרבך. ואספתי את כל הגויים אל ירושלים למלחמה. Again, you repeat what he mentioned in chapter Yud אספתי, I will gather all the nation to Yerushalayim to a war, ונלכדה העיר. And Yerushalayim will be conquered by them. Wow, that sounds scary. So Hashem will not, now there is more accurate timing of what will happen when. So they will come, and remember in Yechezkel we learned that there will be a big earthquake, but Yechezkel didn't mention when. They succeeded before, not succeeded before. Here it says yes, they will come, they will conquer Yerushalayim. And then, let's jump a bit. פסוק ג' ויצא השם ונלחם בגויים ההם כי יום ילחמו ביום קרב. And Hashem himself will fight them. And remember the Medrash? Because Gog says, I'm going to fight you. Hashem says, you're starting up with me, I'm going to fight you. ויצא השם ונלחם בגויים ההם, all the nations of the world. After they will conquer Yerushalayim. מה זה? What is כי יום הילחמו ביום קרב? Like he fought, Hashem, like he fought in a day of war. When? Zechariah said, the war against Gog Magog and all the nations that come will be like a precedent in the history. Could you guess when? When Hashem did such a thing against a very powerful nation. Where? Right? In Mitzrayim. Remember when Paro came to chase Bnei Israel? They were very scared. And what Moshe Rabbeinu told them? Hashem yilachem lachem ve'atem tacharishun. You have to do nothing. Hashem will do the entire work. And what he did? He drowned the entire army in Yam Suf, the Egyptian army. So it says that in Milchemet Gog Magog will be no war against Jewish army. There is no point for any Jewish army to try to fight the entire world. There's no point. And it's not going to be like this. The war will be ending with a complete defeat of the enemies, but not by the Jews fighting them, but Hashem himself. ויצא השם ונלחם בגויים מהם כיום ילחמו ביום קרב, the same way he did with Paro, that you be quiet, תחרישון, Hashem will do the work. Yeah.
So just to clarify again, through the fact that Gog and Magog are going to conquer Eretz Yisrael, everyone's going to think that there's no Hashem, and then Hashem's going to go fight for us?
Not everyone will think that there is no Hashem.
Because we said in the beginning,
They will think, and the goyim. The Jews, some of them will have some doubts. See, this is our end, we cannot do anything. But the other one, in Bnei Brak and Yerushalayim, they say, what are you afraid? There is Hashem, let's say Tehillim, right? So this will be the test. Which Jews will be faithful to Hashem? That will be the test. Now, okay, Hashem will do the work, will fight. How? Here's the description. And now, make the parallel between the description of Yechezkel and we're going to read here. Yeah.
So all the Yidden who don't live in Eretz Yisrael will know part of the word, they will be present during this work.
All the
Yidden who live outside of Eretz Yisrael will be present during the work.
there is a part that I skipped, and that's related to the Jews that will not be at the time in Eretz Yisrael. It's in Perek Lametet, in Yechezkel, and I didn't get to it because I know that they have only one shiur in this event. I want to do the major stuff. But Hashem, okay, you know what, you ask, I'll answer you. I gave this lecture about Yerushalayim, this teaching about Milchemet Gog Magog, many, many years ago. What do you mean many? Before some of you was born. Let's say, we're going back, 30 years ago. I gave this shiur. So, as a Yerushalmi, I was in Yerushalayim, and I gave the shiur, not in Yerushalayim. In Eretz Yisrael, not in Yerushalayim. So, after I read this pasuk, Bayom Ahu Yagen Hashem Be'ad Yoshev Yerushalayim, people said, in Eretz Yisrael, what about Petach Tikva? So, what? I mean, Hashem will protect Yerushalayim only? So the answer is, and that could answer also this question, what about those who will be in New Jersey and New York and different places in the world at the time? So the answer is like this. We have to understand what was the war against. The war is against Judaism. Yerushalayim is a representative of the Jewish nation. What is Yerushalayim? What's the definition of Yerushalayim? It's a famous pasuk that you all know because there are songs, Baruch Hashem. It's a pasuk. But no one will know this pasuk without songs. Definition of Yerushalayim. What is Yerushalayim? Ki mitzion teitzeh Torah udvar Hashem Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim is Beis Hamikdash, Dvar Hashem yotze Yerushalayim. This will be the thing that will bother those anti-Semites. They want to destroy Yerushalayim not as a city, as a concept. And when it says over here that Hashem will protect Yoshev Yerushalayim, you could be Yoshev Yerushalayim even in New Jersey. Because if you're sitting in the Beis Medrash and learn Torah that comes from Yerushalayim to the world, you are Yoshev Yerushalayim. So you will be protected wherever you are, right? In Petach Tikva and in other places. The meaning is Hashem will protect his nation. Okay? Fine, so let's continue. It says that Hashem will come himself and fight them. Now here's the description. How Hashem will do it. Very interesting, fascinating. Here, there are accurate description of how and what. So what we know so far from Yechezkel will be an earthquake. Will be a huge earthquake that will impact the entire world. Where will be the earthquake? Where? Look at this accurate description. It tells you exactly where will be the center of the earthquake. ועמדו רגליו of Hashem, כביכול, so to say. ועמדו רגליו ביום ההוא על הר הזיתים, אשר על פני ירושלים מקדם, ונבקע הר הזיתים מחציו מזרחה וימה, גיא גדולה מאוד, ומש חצי ההר צפונה וחציו נגבה. Let's explain. I believe everyone here, tell me if not, everyone here went to Yerushalayim once? Not you? Okay. Those who visit Yerushalayim, no way that you visit Yerushalayim and didn't go to the Kotel, right? So how do you go to the Kotel? You go from the Rova Yehudi, right? The Jewish quarter. You're going down on the steps. When you're going down on the steps, you see the Kotel in the left side. What do you see in the right side? Har HaZeitim. Har HaZeitim is next to Yerushalayim, and over there is a huge cemetery. Many of Gedolei Israel was buried there in this cemetery. Over there will be the earthquake on this mountain. Now there is a description what's going to happen to this area. It's a mountain. What will be with the mountain? Let's see the description. ועמדו רגליו ביום ההוא על הר הזיתים, אשר על פני ירושלים מקדם, in the east side of בית המקדש. ונבקע הר הזיתים מחציו מזרחה וימה. מזרחה is east, Yama is west. The entire mountain will split, and with part of it, half of it will move to the west, part of it will move to the east. Same way, part of the mountain will move north, one of it will move south. In the middle will be a big valley. That's what the description here. Let's see it in the side. ונבקע הר הזיתים מחציו מזרחה וימה, גיא גדולה מאוד, big valley, ומש חצי ההר צפונה וחציו נגבה. And it will move to the north, to the south, and in the middle will be a big valley. ונסתם גיא הרי, כי יגיע גיא הרים אל עצל. ונסתם כאשר נסתם מפני הרעש בימי עוזיה מלך יהודה. And everyone will be panic, and they will run from the earthquake, like the same thing that we described yesterday about Korach. וכל ישראל נסו לקולם כי אמרו פן תבלענו הארץ. That in Sefer Bamidbar, right? So you will run away because you'll be scared. כאשר נסתם, but here you bring, כאשר נסתם, like you run away מפני הרעש בימי עוזיה מלך יהודה. Why mention this? What happened in Uzziah Melech Yehuda? So you have to know Tanakh. If you learn Tanakh, you need to know the entire thing in order to understand what the Navi says. Uzziah Melech Yehuda was a king from the dynasty of David. Basically, he was a good king, but he tried to do things that you're not supposed to do. He tried at a certain point to say, I'm not just the king, I want to be the Kohen Gadol too. And he tried to do things in Beis HaMikdash which not allow only for the Kohanim. And Hashem hit him in leprosy, tzaraat, הוא היה מצורע, to the rest of his life. When it happened, when Uzziah in Yerushalayim tried to do the work of the Kohen Gadol, was a big earthquake in Yerushalayim. And it's described in Sefer Yeshayahu Perek Vav. Vayanu'u amot hasipim mikol hakore. That the entire Beis Hamikdash was shaking. And that was the famous Ra'ash. About this, by the way, says Yeshayahu, that he heard the Malachim says, Vekara ze el ze ve'amar kadosh kadosh. It's in the beginning of chapter 6, Perek Vav b'Yeshayahu. That was the big Ra'ash, the big earthquake. Ra'ash is earthquake. So see, here mentioned a earthquake, and in Yechezkel there is an earthquake, as we saw yesterday, right? And in both cases, the nations of the world coming to a war in Yerushalayim. So without Zechariah mentioning Gog Magog, he relates to the same thing, because here he mentioned this earthquake and the exact location of the center of the earthquake. It will be on Har HaZeitim. Okay, let's continue. והיה ביום ההוא, תהיה מהומת השם רבה בהם, והחזיקו איש יד רעהו, ועלתה ידו על יד רעהו. That's Zechariah. What he's describing here? That will be such a confusion with this huge army that actually are not naturally always working together. They got together in order for this project that Gog invited them to. But when the earthquake will occur, they will be so confused, they do not know what happened, and they will start to shoot each other, and many of them will be killed, and it's mentioned here, right? תהיה מהומת השם will be a huge turmoil. רבה בהם, והחזיקו איש יד רעהו, ועלתה ידו על יד רעהו. Also, the same like Yechezkel described, there will be a friendly fire that will kill some of this army. And, remember what Yechezkel said? והכיתי אותו בדבר ובדם. דבר is a plague. is Zechariah. זאת תהיה המגפה אשר יגוף השם את כל העמים אשר צבאו על ירושלים. Will be a plague, will be a מגפה. But here he brings symptoms. Any doctors here? Symptoms. What will be the symptoms of the מגפה? I don't know. It's really not easy to read this. המק בשרו והוא עומד על רגליו, ועיניו תימקנה בחוריהן ולשונו תימק בפיהם. Meaning that their body will be dissolved, and the flesh will go down from the bones, and the eyes will be dried and falling from their holes, all of this. That will be the symptoms of this Magefa. And Yechezkel described it, בדבר ובדם, גשם שוטף, אבני אל גביש. So we see the parallel, the same war, but here it's from the point of view of us. Zechariah not mentioning them. He speaks about them in general. Kol hagoyim, all the nations of the world, because he addresses it to us. Now the question is, he addresses it to us, so what are we supposed to do at this time? Yeah.
We also had a teacher in seminary who taught us a little bit about Gog Magog, and he said that that's one of the, like in nuclear war. Like,
Yeah, I know. I don't like the speculation. No. Because it's not mentioned anywhere here.
but that's
A
the
nuclear.
symptom.
Okay, the same symptom could be for completely different things. And people, it's nice to speculate that there will be nuclear, but I don't know. It's not mentioned anywhere that it's nuclear. And besides, Hashem says it's Magefa. If it's Magefa, it's a biological thing. It's not nuclear. Okay, anyone who wants to be happy with nuclear, let them be happy with nuclear. We'll wait and see exactly how it will be. Okay? Fine. So what are we supposed to do? If it will be an earthquake, it's not like spill the bath with the baby, because Jews going to be there, right? They're going to attack Jews. It will be an earthquake in a way that destroy the army, how the Jews will survive it. Okay, for this, we said that Hashem says He will protect us. How? So let's go back, because I read here Pasuk Gimel, but I read only part of the Pasuk. So let's go back and read the entire thing, and don't be scared, okay? Because I'm going to explain it. Here's the beginning. הנה יום בא להשם. The beginning of chapter י"ד. הנה יום בא להשם וחולק שלח בקרבך, ואספתי את כל הגויים אל ירושלים למלחמה, ונלכדה העיר. So we stopped here, פסוק ב'. ונלכדה העיר, meaning the city will be conquered. ונשסו הבתים, והנשים תשכבנה, ויצא חצי העיר בגולה, ויתר העם לא יכרת מן העיר. And then come פסוק ג' ויצא השם ונלחם בגויים מהם כי יום ילחמו ביום קרב. But actually what he's saying here, that they will be successful. They will conquer the city. They will go to the houses. They destroyed everything. And they will take the ladies. And at the end he said something very interesting. ויצא חצי העיר בגולה, ויתר העם לא יכרת מן העיר. What is this? Again, the Navi brings us the accurate description about the earthquake. Now, where exactly it will be located, in Har HaZeisim. Now he said, when Hashem will interfere. What's the exact point? After they conquer the Jerusalem, after they will take everyone, whatever, then they will try to take the people of Jerusalem and send them to exile. They will be able to take half of the population of Jerusalem and send them to exile before they will deal with the other half. Then ויצא השם ונלחם בגויים מהם. Meaning Hashem will start to interfere after half of the city will be put or sent to exile. As a Yerushalmi, as I told you, I was born and raised in Yerushalayim. When I read this, I said, yeah, it's East Jerusalem. With the Arabs. We're going to send them away. Okay, I don't know exactly what that means. Anyways, everything will be stopped. They, to the last moment, they will think that they're successful. Then everything will be in a surprise, but that's how it's gonna end. By the way, I have to mention this. When you read this, ונלכדה העיר ונשסו הבתים והנשים תשכבנה, the Medrash says it's only 2 ladies. Only 2. מיעוט רבים 2. And it will be a certain ladies. Whatever. Anyways, everyone, Baruch Hashem, will be protected. Okay. Fine. So, let's summarize so far what we learned. Yesterday we learned Yechezkel, about all the details that we learned yesterday. Today we add to this Zechariah. We said that from 2 points of view. And now I want to ask a question and answer it. When you try to understand what's going to happen in Melchemet Gog Magog, there are 2 scenarios. If you read Yechezkel only, it doesn't mention that any Jew will get harmed. Meaning the description in Yechezkel is more optimistic. It doesn't make us fear. But when you read Zechariah, okay, there is a happy end, but what will be before, it sounds not too good. So it seems like contradiction. Now there is a rule, I don't know if you know about it. Some people say it in the davening in the morning. Anyone familiar with something called Beraisa, the Rabbi Yishmael? Yeah, you know, Baruch Hashem. Yodei Sefer. תנא דבר רבי ישמעאל, ב-13 מידות התורה נדרשת. There are 13 rules how to learn the Torah, right? What are they? מקל וחומר, מגזרה שווה, מבניין וכתוב אחד, מבניין... Okay, פרט שהיה בכלל, כלל שיצא בכלל, okay, all this. There are 13 rules how to learn Torah. What's the last one? The last one, וכן, שני כתובים, המכחישים זה את זה, עד שיבוא הכתוב השלישי ויכריע ביניהם. You familiar with what I'm saying? I'll explain. If you find in the Torah, anywhere in Dvar Hashem, in the Nevuah, 2 psukim that seems to be contradicting each other. So don't get too excited. Hashem said this pasuk and this pasuk, it could not be contradicting. And if it seems to you contradict, look for a third one that will make peace between the two and explain to you why this talking this way and this talking this way. Okay? So here's the rule. וכן שני כתובים המכחישים זה את זה, עד שיבוא הכתוב השלישי ויכריע ביניהם. When you have two biblical passages contradict each other, the meaning can be determined by the third. So we learned Yechezkel, we learned Zechariah, and we need the third. You know where's the third? It's in Malachi. It's in Nevuas Malachi. Malachi was the last Navi. The Gemara says that Malachi, who Ezra? Ezra and Malachi is the same person. But in the Nevi'im he called Malachi, and the Ksuvim he called Ezra. And Ezra was the one who was at the head of the General Assembly, Knesset HaGdolah, Anshe Knesset HaGdolah. Ezra Sofer was the one. Can I get the tissues? Sorry, thank you. That's it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is to go to the third pasuk in the third issue, few psukim, in Malachi that will make order between those two scenarios. Malachi is not speaking at all about Milchemet Gog Magog, but he speaks about the end of days. And in Sefer Malachi, there are 3 prakim, the entire Sefer, only 3 chapters. In the last chapter, the last psukim in Malachi, you all know because of a famous song. See? What we will do without songs? So you know this psukim. The psukim says the following: Hinei anochi sholeach lachem et Eliyah hanavi, לפני בוא יום השם הגדול והנורא, והשיב לב אבות על בנים ולב בנים על אבותם. Familiar? You know what I'm talking about? Okay, that's the end of the third chapter. So we will go to the third chapter, and we'll go actually one step before, and we'll read the pasuk at the end of Perek Bet of Malachi. Malachi speaks, this is the last nevuah. The last nevuah. The channel, amazing channel, when Hashem speaks to people, to Nevi'im, the last message that Hashem sent was by Malachi. He was the last Navi. In the third chapter. And he speaks about Achas Hayomim. הנה אנוכי שולח לכם את אליה הנביא לפני בוא יום השם הגדול והנורא. Before the end, Hashem will send Eliyahu Navi. והשיב לבבות על בנים ולבנים על אבותם. But before we get to this, at the end of the second chapter, he mentions something amazing. This by itself, just this. I told you, I was dealing most of my life in Kiruv. Many years. And I dealt with the tough cookies. Tough cookies mean Israelis from Tzfon Tel Aviv. The hardcore of the kfirah. Those people who are thinks that they're very intelligent, very knowledgeable, the top scientists, completely atheists, many of them, they hold themselves as the smartest people in the world. And they know who are the most dumb people in the world, the Haredim. They know it. They know the fact. Therefore, they were very, very surprised when they came to our seminars, not mine, Arachim seminars, and we challenged them and say, you're so intelligent, you're so logic, okay, let's present what Judaism has to say about the Torah from a logical point of view, rational point of view. We say, wow, okay, let's see. And they come to seminars, and I could tell you, after many, many seminars that I was there, They come in the first day, menupachim migava, they were full of themselves. Who could tell us those from people? And they heard few lectures in the first day. They stay with their mouth open to the end of the seminar. They have a lot of interest to disprove everything that we said, but they could not do it. And at the end they said, we're in shock. This is the truth. Because really, Arachim deal with this in the academic seminar in a very thorough way, taking every possible questions and show what the Torah has to say about it and show that there is no contradiction. And more than that, if you're really rational, if you're really logical, you have to agree that this is the truth. Okay. So I heard many, many questions. And they are not asking very politely like the Americans. They are straight, dugri, and sabras. They shoot. They shoot without mercy. The problem is that the people who deal with them, which is the lecturers in Arachim, was also Israelis. So it was a big boom. So I heard so many questions in my life about Yiddishkeit, about Hashem, about the Torah. Vast majority of them are a bunch of nonsense, not easy to answer. There is one question that I think is the question that everyone should be bothered by and asked. And this is the best question that you could ever think of. You know what is the question? The question is like this. If there is Hashem who created the world, and Hashem is good, the absolute good, how there is so much evil in the world? How and why righteous people suffering and wicked people could live all their life doing a lot of very bad things and live very good life to 120, died on their bed, had a lot of fame and wealth and health. It seems not fair. It's called מפני מה יש צדיק ורע לו ורשע וטוב לו. Where's Hashem in the picture? Why Hashem didn't punish the wicked and give good things to the good people? This question is the best question. First of all, it's a real question. We see it in our eyes. We see it. Because it's such a good question, there is a rule. Every good question, every real good question, was asked. No one waited until you will ask it. Was asked. And was asked. The people who asked this was the greatest people ever. And this question has a whole sefer in the Tanakh that deal with it. Sefer Eov. Who wrote Sefer Eov? Moshe Rabbeinu. The top Navi. Lo kam b'Yisrael navi od k'Moshe. And he wants to know how Hashem running the world. מפני מה יש צדיק ורע לו רשע וטוב לו. And Hashem gave him some information about this. Based on this, he wrote the story of Eov. And Sefer Eov is one of the difficult, hard foreign to understand in the Tanakh. It deals with this question. There is a discussion over there between Eov and his, in the beginning, 3 friends. And it's a philosophical question. Here we find Eov. Eov is a tzaddik and he's suffering. How could it be? So we have Eov, his opinion, Eliphaz, Hateimani, Bildad HaShuchit, Sofar HaNaamati. There are a whole discussion about this issue. So the question is valid. You should ask it. And you should learn Eov in order to understand why it's not a question. Why it's not fair from Hashem to let the world to behave like this. It's all deep question. This is the best question ever. Says the Navi Malachi. And here we come to you know what? Everything that I said here in this 2 shiurim was interesting. But what I'm going to say now is the most important thing in the entire thing. Because I know people want to know about Gog Magog because we're curious. We want to know. But you have to know it's not just to satisfy our curiosity intellectually. What practically it says to me, to you, to us now. That's the thing. So this Hakdama I'm giving you in order to understand the Pasuk HaShlishi. Pasuk HaShlishi Sheyachriya B'nei, meaning the issue that Malachi deal with. Look what Malachi says. Malachi says in the Nevuah that the Jews will be bothered by this question of Tzadik V'ra Lo, Rasha V'tov Lo. And they will keep asking Hashem, how could you do that? This is the last pasuk of the second chapter in Malachi. Perek Bet Pasuk Yud Zayin. Says the Novi Malachi the following. Hoga'atem Hashem bedivrechem. Va'amartem b'meh hoganu. So he said, come on, you keep asking the same question again and again. Hashem is tired from you. And you said, what did we do? How we make Hashem wearing? באומרכם, כל עושה רע טוב בעיני השם, ובהם הוא חפץ, או איה אלוהי המשפט. You will say cynically, Hashem probably really liked the wicked one, because he gave them a good life. He never punished them. Or, if not, how come he didn't punish them? איה אלוהי המשפט. So this is the question. And the Navi says in the name of Hashem, come on with this question again. I'm tired to hear this. So actually what he's saying, that the Jews during the history went through so much, and then they will ask themselves at certain point when it will be really too much. Maybe there is no Ashgacha altogether, and you could be a wicked and successful. It's not worth to be good, because to be good, it's not an insurance that your life will be good. So that after long time, years of history of suffering, the Jews will have this idea, this machshava, that maybe there is no Ashgacha. That's the end of the second chapter. Now comes the third. Says the Navi Malachi, don't rely on this question too much. You could, comfort yourself, your Yetzer Hara, say, okay, I'll do what my Yetzer Hara says, because at the end, you could not see in your eyes that there is punishment for wickeds. Says the Navi Malachi, don't rely on this. Hine anochi sholeach malachi. That's the name of the Navi. But the Malachi that he speaks here about is Eliyahu Malach HaBrit. Eliyahu the Mevasar HaGula. הנני שולח מלאכי ופינה דרך לפניי, ופתאום, suddenly, יבוא אליך לא האדון אשר אתם מבקשים, ומלאך הברית, מלאך הברית אצל אליהו הנביא, זה, right? כיסא של אליהו בריס מילה, ומלאך הברית אשר אתם חפצים, הנה בא, אמר השם צבאות. So actually warning us. He said, long time will pass, you will go through a lot of difficult things, but don't think that proving that there is no hashgacha and you could do whatever you want. Don't rely on it. Because if you think that's an excuse, you will not be ready for the day that the truth will be revealed. It will be suddenly. No one will know about it before. And then you will see retroactively that your excuse were nothing, was not real. So that's how the third chapter of Malachi started. Umi mechalkel et yom bo'o, who could calculate when he, or bear the day he will come, umi ha'omed beheraoto, and who could stand when the truth will be revealed, כי הוא כאש מצרף וכבורית מחפשים. Malachi mentioned אש מצרף, where we went through it before, in Zechariah, right? והבאתי את השלישית באש. מצרף זהב וכסף. So he's speaking here that at the time when the truth will be revealed, no one will be ready, and you better find another explanation and don't use this excuse. Anyways, the Rishonim didn't get any punishment. Now, I'm jumping to the end of the perek, almost there. And I want to describe to you something that you have to know history in order to understand how amazing this is. Okay, let me ask you, did you ever learn or know about the Enlightenment? With more accurate, the darkness. Yeah. The Enlightenment, right? The Tnuat HaHaskala, about 240 years ago in Germany, after the revolution, the French Revolution, right? What happened then? Jews from us. After the world became free and the dictatorship of the Christian Catholic world was destroyed, and people were seeking and have hope, the people of the world, the French, the Germans, new era. The Jews also went on this and says, unjustify what the Christians do in a very justified way to the Catholic Church. The Jews said, okay, the problem of everything is the religion, so let's throw the religion away. And they proved it to themselves logically. We were suffering for years and years and years. We were in the ghettos. They hated us. But now there is a point that the world started to be more tolerant, right? So let's use it. Let's use the opportunity. You know why they hate us? Because we're different from them. We were different. We eat different. We are not mixing with them. Let's mix with them. Because if you do the calculation, was it worth to be Jewish? We just suffer from that. We just went down and down. That's what people say. That's what people said then at the time. And they didn't just say that. They disconnect themselves from Frumkeit. Stop keeping Shabbos, stop keeping kashrus, mixed marriages, right? Everything. The Navi, the last Navi, relate to this time of the history. Look at the description. What excuses they used? We didn't see that it's worth to be faithful to Hashem. We just suffer because of that, right? Here's the Navi. Chazku alai divrechem amar Hashem. You're talking too strong. Va'amartem ma nidbarnu alecha. And again you ask, what we said already? Amartem, shav avod Elokim. Uma betza ki shamarnu mishmarto. It was for nothing to keep the mitzvot. What we gain from this? V'chi alachnu kedoranit mipnei Hashem tzvaot. We just went from problems to problems to problems, many pogroms. It's not worth it. Ve'ata anachnu me'ashrim zedim. And we see that the wicked one, the Zaydim, the Rishoim, are happy, me'usharim. Gam nivnu oseh rish'ah. The people who dedicate their life to evil got built from this. Gam bachanu Elokim v'imaletu. They challenge Hashem, and it seems that they won. No one punished them. What is this question? Tzadik v'ralo. So he said in the end of Perek Bet, הוגעתם Hashem בדבריכם ואמרתם במה הוגענוך וכו'. And the same thing he repeat here. So he said, before the end, in Achris Hayomim, will be a long period of time that the Jews will be tested if they will be faithful to Hashem, even when things are not bright, so to say. And at the end, some people from the Jewish people will get tired and say, okay, enough is enough, come on, we're finishing with disconnecting. ourselves from Yiddishkeit. That's what he said. But he continued. Look at the continuation. As, what's as? Then, at this time, נדברו יראי השם איש אל רעהו, ויקשב השם וישמע, וייכתב ספר זיכרון לפניו, ליראי השם ולחושבי שמו. At the same time, when many rational, logical Jews will say, the calculation of the history give us very clear picture. It's not worth to keep the Torah. Let's be like the Goyim. Will be then, as, will be a different group that the Navi called them Yir'eh Hashem, fear of God. And then, even though it will be so popular to leave everything and to become like a Goyim, they will be Yir'eh Hashem, and they will make each other strong, and they will be faithful to Hashem and the Torah. אז נדברו ירא השם איש אל רעהו, ויקשב השם וישמע. And Hashem is listening to them, giving chizuk to each other. נדברו איש אל רעהו, and Hashem will listen to this chizuk that they give to each other in order to stay faithful. And then what? Hashem will write a book, a sefer. וייכתב ספר זיכרון לפניו. What will be in this sefer that Hashem will write? The names of the people that was faithful. ליראי השם ולחושבי שמו. The names of those who went through all the tests, all the nisyonos, and stayed strong, faithful to Hashem, their name will be in this sefer. Why Hashem will write this sefer? Look. וייכתב ספר זיכרון לפניו ליראי השם ולחושבי שמו. והיו לי, אמר השם צבאות, ליום אשר אני עושה סגולה. I will keep their name in this book, in this sefer. For what? For one day. One day it's not literal day. For the time. ליום אשר אני עושה סגולה will be one day that will be used. I'll open the sefer. What's this day? וחמלתי עליהם כאשר יחמול איש על בנו העובד אותו. Will be a day that will be a special day. Later on he will explain the day. But in this day, the Jewish people will need a lot of rachamim, a lot of mercy to be saved in this day. And those who their name is in this sefer, they will have the insurance. I will protect them, the people who at the time of darkness, which Hafuch al Hafuch called light, enlightenment, those who were strong and stay and went through is faithful to Hashem, their name will be there, and that will be their insurance policy for this day. Now, what is the day? First of all, he said, what will be, here's the description. ושבתם וראיתם בין צדיק לרשע, בין עובד אלוקים לאשר לא עבדו. And then, at this day, when this day that you're going to describe before, later, you're going to describe the day. When this day will come, you will see what will be the difference between someone who was a tzaddik, Oved Hashem, to one who left, who is not. Ben Oved Hashem la'asher lo avado. Meaning, will be one day in the history, time will come, that will be no more question of tzaddik ve'ra lo, ve'rasha ve'tov lo. Will be tzaddik ve'tov lo, ve'rasha ve'ra lo. Until then, it could be, seems like there is a tzaddik who's suffering for nothing, or there is a wicked who didn't pay for his deeds. But then will come this day, and that day will make clear that all the Rishonim, all the wickeds will get punishment, and all the tzaddikim will get the rewards. Now, what is the day? Here's a description. Ki hine hayom ba bo'er ketanur. He described this day as a day that burned with fire. והיו כל זדים וכל עושה רשעה קש, וליהט אותם היום הבא. This day that come will come as a fire, and all the wicked one will be like a dry straw that easily will be burnt and vanished. אמר השם צבאות אשר לא יעזוב להם שורש וענף. Nothing will left from them. וזרחה לכם יראי שמי, those who are in this sefer, in this book, יראי השם, וזרחה לכם יראי שמי שמש, צדקה ומרפא בכנפיה. Meaning the sun is very hot. The sun. If you go there, don't go. It's very hot. But the same day, the same burning who burned the wicked will be a healthy and good for the good people. Meaning will be one day that yered masach, that will be no more barrier. You'll see, the clarity will be so vivid. And you will see that it was not worth to be wicked. The wicked will be paying everything, and the tzaddikim that went through all the nisyonot, they will survive. So actually, what the Navi Malachi said? The Navi Malachi warning us, this is the last nevuah for the Jewish people to the end of days, to the time of Bias Eliyahu Hanavi and Mashiach. And right before, some people will get tired and will say, enough is enough, we are not connecting to Judaism anymore. And they will leave. In the same time, even though seems like it's not worth to be strong and connect to Hashem, they will give chizuk to each other. And they will stay strong. And it's worth, because their name will be in the sefer, which is the policy of insurance, until that day will come. So he asks us, please be patient. Don't leave before. Stay strong to the end. The last psukim of the Nevuah. The last Navi says, Zichru Torat Moshe Avdi. The last Navi points to the first Navi, Moshe Rabbeinu. And he said to the Jewish people, remember, even though many, many years passed since the time of Moshe Rabbeinu, but you have to remember that the Torah that Hashem said, the Torah that I gave through Moshe Rabbeinu is relevant forever, even to the last day. Remember, Zichru Torat Moshe Avdi, אשר ציוויתי אותו בחורב על כל ישראל, חוקים ומשפטים. So the chukim and the mishpatim, the rules of how you run your life, still relevant since the time of Moshe Rabbeinu to the end of days. And be strong and keep those chukim and mishpatim. And then he said the following, הנה אנוכי שולח לכם את אליה הנביא לפני בו יום השם הגדול והנורא. יום השם הגדול והנורא is this day, like the day that בוער כתנור, that the day שהיום אשר אני עושה סגולה. Before that, I will send Eliyahu הנביא. Now Eliyahu הנביא, okay, fine, I'll explain what Eliyahu הנביא means here, but let's see. הנה אנוכי שולח לכם את אליה הנביא לפני בו יום השם הגדול והנורא. For what? והשיב לב אבות על בנים ולב בנים על אבותם. Aside from singing it, what is the meaning? Who's the avot? Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. What's the banim? The descendants of the Jewish people. Of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, the Jewish people. Hashem says, Eliyahu Navi's job will be to make the descendants like the others, and the others like the descendants. Meaning, Eliyahu Navi will come and will bring our ruach, ruach shel tshuva. Heshiv, tshuva. Heshiv lev avot al banim velev banim al avotam. So here the song ends, right? But not the pasuk. You know why? Because the last few words in the pasuk are very, very not songy. Not at all. הנה אנוכי שלח לכם את אליה הנביא לפני בו יום השם הגדול והנורא וישיב לב אבות על בנים ולב בנים על אבותם. פן אבוא והכיתי את הארץ חרם. And this is a warning. The last chance before. Because if after Eliyahu you will not listen to Eliyahu and you will not be straight yourself with the avos, the entire place will be destroyed. פן אבוא והכיתי את הארץ חרם. And this is a warning to the last generation, to the entire history, to the last generation. Be careful. This is the last chance to go back. Ve'eshiv levavot al banim, because if not, I will destroy everything. And now we have the solution of the problem that we asked. Remember the two scenarios? Yechezkel and Zechariah. According to Yechezkel, doesn't mention that any one little hair from any Jew will be harmed. According to Zechariah, yeah, at the end will be good, but before that, who knows what's going to happen? Remember what I quote yesterday from the Rambam about what's going to be? No one could know. וכל אלו הדברים לא ידע אדם איך יהיו עד שיהיו. Why? And I said, there is a free will. The free will could change everything. It doesn't change. It will not change the titles. The milchama will be. Milchemet Gog Magog is a necessity. It could not be without it. That's the gilui of Hitgadilti V'Hitkadishti. How we gonna go through it? It's up to us. If we will be from the Yireh Hashem, we have a policy, insurance policy, that whatever will be, Hashem yagen be'ad Yoshev Yerushalayim. What's Yerushalayim? Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah udvar Hashem Yerushalayim. So if you hold in the Torah, you faithful to the Torah, even in tough time of tough nisyonis, you will be in this book, and Hashem will protect you. And Milchemet Gog Magog will go aside next to you, and you will be fine. But if not, pen avo v'iketi et haaretz cherem. So the question is, will be people from the Jewish people that will suffer or destroyed or get harmed in Milchemet Gog Magog? Possibly. Possibly. If everyone will do tshuva on time, before the big events, before this day, so no Jew should be harmed. But if not, anyone who will go, any Jew who will go after the ideology of Gog, that eliminates Hashem from the conscience of the Jew, when Gog will pay the price, all the followers of Gog will pay the price, Jews and non-Jews. So it's up to us. And this is what we could say about Milchemet Gog Magog in this. This is a short version. There is a bigger version, but those two shiurim that I gave yesterday and today is just give you a picture in general, but very thorough with many, many interesting details. And all of this is the pshat. I didn't go to the depth. I will just mention one thing because the question that I was asked yesterday. There is any connection between Agag to Gog. Agag was the king of Amalek, right? And Gog. The common denominator, they have two gimels in their names, Agag and Gog. So I'll tell you about this, something very deep, and with that we will conclude. There is a Gemara in Maseches Shabbos, Bedaf Kuf Dalet. The Gemara says the following, that one day came young students came to the Beis Medrash. And the Gemara described that what they said in the Beis Medrash is something that was never heard in any Beis Medrash since the time of Yoshua ben Nun. Why Yoshua ben Nun? Because Yoshua ben Nun was the student of Moshe Rabbeinu. So no students say anything like this since Yoshua ben Nun. What they said? They took the Aleph Bet, the 22 letters of the Aleph Bet, Gimel, Dalet, and explained each one of them. And that was so amazing. So I will tell you the first four letters. Aleph. Aleph Bet, they said only these two words. Aleph Bet, Aleph Bina. Aleph is to teach. Le'alef, le'lamed. Bina, that's a bet. Aleph starts with the letter Aleph, right? Bina starts with the letter Bet. Bina, Aleph Bina. That's for the first two letters. Then they went to Gimel Dalet, and they said, what's Gimel Dalet? Gomel Dalim. Gomel is someone who gives. Gomel chesed. Gomel is giver. Dalim, Daled is a dal. Dal is a poor person. So the Gomel, the one who have, and he is generous, he give to the one who doesn't have. And the dal is someone who doesn't have anything. Okay, that's what they said. They relate to all the rest of the letters, but we will concentrate in 2 letters, and this is Gimel and Dalet. Gimel, the way it's written in Hebrew, Gimel, is like a Vav with a leg that goes forward. That's a Gimel, right? The Daled is like a Resh, but it has a little hand, right? So the Gimel is giver with this that goes forward. It's giver, the Gimel. The Dalet get it from the hand that he sent. Okay? Sit straight on your chairs now. No insurance. The one who is a Gimel, is a Goimel, could be a Baal Gaiva. It's also Gimel, Gaiva. Because I have a lot, I feel so good that I could give, and because of that I feel that I'm better than anyone else. I'm a giver. So some giver give with pride that they could. It's okay to feel good about it, but to be Baal Gaiva, that's not so good. Okay? There are 2 people in the history. One is a Gimel, and one is a Daled. You know who they are? Gog and David. Gog and David. Gog is a Baal Gaiva. He will be the leader of the superpower at the time. Everyone remember Vayitalem leMishmar. He will be a superpower, and he will feel Koichi v'otzim yodi. He will be the head of the superpower of the time. He will have the vast, advanced technology, and he will feel that he is running the world. So much until he will challenge Hashem. I will fight against him. Then he will come to Yerushalayim. And in chapter 13 that we skipped, there is a mention over there, Beis David. At the time of Gog Magog, it's mentioned Bet David b'Yerushalayim. So he will come to Yerushalayim, and in Yerushalayim you'll find David. And David is a dal, not in English. No one understand the joke? David is a dal. Okay, fine. Meaning he is a poor person, but he is a dal. Daled. David HaMelech was the most honored ever. He said on himself, V'anochi tola'at velo ish. I'm not even a person, I'm a worm. When he was the king of Israel, Hashem Bachar bo, chose him to be the king. But he could be the Melech, the Malchus. Malchus is one of the spheres. The last sphere is Malchus. And the Malchus of David is because he knows that he has nothing from himself. He is complete dal. He knows that everything that he got from Hashem. And this will be the milchama. The fight will be between those who think that they are on the top of the world to those who are in the top of the world, but they not give any credit for themselves, which is David. And that will be the milchama. And that actually what Agag is. What's Agag? Gag. What's Gag? Gag is a roof. Where's the roof? On the top. Right? Agag. Gag. Roof. Gag. So Gag and Gog, they're 2 different people, but they suffering from the same problem. Gaiva. And at the end of days, this is the meaning of it, gadilti v'it kadishti. That I will show those who think that they are on top of the world how nothing they are. And the world that will stay to see it, meaning the nations of the world that send their husband, children to the war, the big war in Yerushalayim, they will see it. והתגדלתי והתקדשתי ונודעתי לעיני גויים רבים. How could it be לעיני? As we said yesterday, they will watch it on TV from Australia. They will see in their eyes. What they will see? That the Baal Gaive, the technology we have, the ammunition that no one in the world ever had. And he will make a coalition with the entire nations of the world. It will be united nation. And the united nation will be destroyed, and then the truth will be revealed. This is the story of Gog Magog. Thank you for letting me sharing it with you. Yeah, question.
It says there in the pasuk about the leave Abuset. Then never going to be able to be like on the level of the Abuset.
Yeah, that's the meaning. The meaning to be in the Madrid. Le'olam, you heard that? Le'olam yomar adam, mati yagiu ma'asai le'ma'asei avotai Avraham, Yitzchak ve'Yaakov. That should be the strive of every Jew to be, because we are the descendants of them, meaning deep down, hiddenly, we have it in our genes. So we have to actualize it. At this time, that will actualize. That everyone will be like the others, Bezrat Hashem Yisborach, and everything will be good. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.